You walk into a room and something shifts. People notice you, but they can't explain why. You haven't said anything impressive. You haven't performed. You haven't demanded attention. Yet somehow you command it. Here's what's actually happening. While everyone else is talking, explaining, defending, you're doing something most people will never learn. You're controlling the space without opening your mouth. And that quiet control, it terrifies people who are used to manipulating others through words. Most people think power comes from what you say. They think influence requires speeches, arguments, explanations. They're wrong. The most dangerous form of power is the kind that operates in complete silence, the kind that makes people adjust their behavior around you without understanding why. If you've ever felt invisible, overlooked, or pushed around, this isn't about revenge. This is about becoming someone who can't be touched, can't be manipulated, can't be controlled. And it starts the moment you stop trying to prove anything. Here's the truth. Most people miss. Words create openings. Every time you speak, you reveal something, your fears, your desires, your weaknesses, your buttons that can be pushed. The person who talks the most in any interaction is the person giving away the most power. Think about the last argument you had. Who was explaining more? Who was justifying, defending, trying to make the other person understand? That person lost. Not because their points were wrong, but because they needed the other person's approval to feel right. Silent people don't need your approval. They don't need your understanding. They don't need to win you over. And that independence? It's magnetic and threatening at the same time. Machiavelli watched this pattern in every court, every negotiation, every power play. The loudest person rarely held real control. The quiet one watching, calculating, refusing to reveal their hand, that's who everyone feared. When you stop filling every silence with noise, people's brains go into overdrive. Humans are wired to resolve uncertainty. We need to categorize, understand, predict. A silent person breaks that pattern. You become unreadable. They can't map your reactions. They can't predict your next move. They can't find the emotional buttons to press. So they start adjusting their behavior, trying different approaches, seeking any response that helps them understand you. And here's what they don't realize. While they're working overtime trying to figure you out, you're watching everything. Their tactics, their patterns, their desperation. Most people never see this dynamic because they're too busy talking. They think connection requires constant communication. They think relationships die in silence, but real power understands that silence isn't empty. It's full of observation, assessment, strategy. First level, physical stillness. Your body doesn't react to provocation. Someone insults you, your face stays neutral. Someone tries to intimidate you, your posture doesn't change. Someone attempts to get a rise out of you, you remain unmoved. This isn't about suppressing emotion. This is about refusing to let your body broadcast your internal state. Most people leak information through micro-expressions, nervous movements, defensive postures. The person who controls their physical presence controls what others can read. Watch how people shift when you maintain stillness. They lean in, they repeat themselves, they escalate or back down. All because your lack of reaction forces them to recalibrate. Second level, emotional detachment. You don't need the outcome. When someone threatens to leave, you're prepared to watch them go. When someone tries to guilt you, the guilt doesn't land. When someone dangles approval, you don't reach for it. This is the level where people realize they can't manipulate you. Their usual tactics stop working. The silent treatment doesn't crack you. The fake kindness doesn't fool you. The emotional hostage situations don't trap you. They won't admit it, but this is when they start respecting you. Not because they like you more, but because they realize you're not controllable. Third level, strategic silence. You know when to speak and when to withhold. You understand that the question you don't answer carries more weight than the one you do. You recognize that letting someone believe something incorrect can serve your purpose better than correcting them. This isn't about playing games. This is about understanding that information flows in one direction, from the person who needs to talk to the person who's content to listen, and the person receiving information always has the advantage. If you've been through manipulation, you know the feeling, that exhausting need to make them understand. To explain your reasoning, justify your choices, defend your boundaries. You thought if you could just say it right, they'd finally get it. They never did. Not because you weren't clear enough, because getting you to explain was the whole point. Every explanation revealed your thought process, your priorities, your breaking points. The moment you stop explaining, everything changes. When someone asks why and you simply say, "Because that's my decision," they hit a wall. There's nothing to argue with, no logic to pick apart, no emotional reasoning to exploit. Watch their reaction. First comes confusion, then frustration, then attempts to force an explanation through guilt, anger, or false concern. And when none of that works, something shifts. They realize you're not operating by the old rules anymore. Some people will respect this immediately. They'll recognize that you've leveled up and they'll adjust how they interact with you. Others will hate it. They'll call you cold, difficult, changed. That's how you know it's, working. Here's what most people never learn. You don't owe anyone an emotional performance. When someone shares drama, you don't need to match their energy. When someone dumps their problems on you, you don't need to absorb their stress. When someone fishes for sympathy, you don't need to bite. A simple, "I hear you," or "That's tough," followed by silence, does something remarkable. It acknowledges without engaging. It shows awareness without taking on the burden. It allows people to feel heard without making you responsible for their emotions. The untouchable person masters this balance. They're not cold or cruel. They're just not available to be used as an emotional dumping ground. They don't participate in circular conversations that go nowhere. They don't volunteer themselves as unpaid therapists to people who refuse to change. And people sense this boundary. They stop bringing the same recycled drama. They stop expecting you to fix what they're not willing to fix themselves. Your silence trains them to respect your energy. Most manipulation requires a response. Gaslighters need you to doubt yourself. Narcissists need you to chase their approval. Controllers need you to fear consequences. But what happens when you simply don't respond? The whole system breaks down. The manipulator pushes buttons that don't trigger reactions. They deploy tactics that hit dead air. They escalate because nothing is working, and their desperation becomes visible to everyone watching. This is when you become untouchable. Not because you're attacking back, but because you've removed yourself from the game entirely. You're not defending, not explaining, not engaging with bad faith arguments. You're just existing with complete indifference to their attempts at control. And that indifference, it's the most powerful position possible. Because the opposite of love isn't hate. It's genuine disinterest. When someone realizes they can't even provoke you into caring about their opinion, they've lost all leverage. At some point, someone will test whether your silence is real or just a temporary act. They'll do something designed to break you, push a specific button, cross a line you used to defend, say something calculated to get a reaction. This is the moment that determines everything. Most people crack, they explode, they defend, they break their silence to set the record straight. And in doing so, they reveal that the silence was just a strategy, not a genuine shift in power. The person who's truly untouchable, they don't flinch. The test doesn't work, the button doesn't exist anymore, and the tester is left with the uncomfortable realization that they're playing a game alone. Let's be honest about the price. Some people will drift away. The ones who needed you to be manageable, fixable, moldable. The ones who required your emotional labor to function. The ones who used your need for approval as leverage. Losing them isn't a bug, it's a feature. Every person who can't handle your silence is someone who is draining your power. Their departure clears space for people who respect boundaries, value autonomy, and engage with you as an equal rather than a project. What you gain is sovereignty. Complete ownership of your energy, your time, your emotional bandwidth. No one can guilt you into situations you don't want. No one can manipulate you into conversations that go nowhere. No one can force you to perform emotions you don't feel. You become the immovable object, and in a world full of people trying to push everyone around, the immovable object always wins. Not through force, but through simple refusal to be moved. Here's something you'll notice as you practice this. The people who hate your silence the most are the people who are benefiting from your noise. Your explanations gave them information to use against you. Your emotional reactions gave them control over your state. Your need for their approval gave them power to withhold it. Your silence removes all of that, and they panic. They'll accuse you of being difficult, cold, changed. They'll claim you're not the person you used to be. They're right, you're not. You're someone who can't be controlled anymore. The people who love your silence, they're the ones who never needed to control you in the first place. They see your quiet strength and recognize it as the real you finally showing up. They feel safe around your stability. They appreciate that your presence doesn't require constant performance. This is how you know who belongs in your life, not by who accepts your silence, but by who respects what it represents. The end of manipulation, the beginning of real power. Becoming untouchable doesn't require grand gestures or dramatic confrontations. It requires the discipline to stop performing for an audience that never deserved a show, to stop explaining yourself to people who use your explanations as weapons, to stop filling silence with noise just because quiet makes others uncomfortable. The most powerful people you'll ever meet don't need to announce their strength. They don't need to prove they can't be broken. They simply exist in a state of calm certainty that radiates one message: I am not available to be manipulated. And that message, delivered in complete silence, is louder than any words could ever be. So here's your choice. Keep talking, explaining, defending, and watch people use your words to control you. Or go silent. Watch them scramble. Watch them reveal themselves. Watch them realize they can't touch you anymore. The question isn't whether you can become untouchable. You already are. You just need to stop talking long enough to realize it.